live right now.
Okay, so just in time.
Yeah, just looking for, yes, we are on YouTube in just the time to launch it.
Okay.
And I'm checking on LinkedIn, but should be exactly the same. I think the issue that we have had last time has been, I think, clearly sorted out.
Okay, cool.
Let's
So let me
see.
check on LinkedIn. Yeah, perfect.
Can see us on LinkedIn already? Yes, see us on YouTube. And
I can see it on YouTube, but I don't have LinkedIn open at the moment.
yeah, I don't, it's coming. Yes, we are. Okay, perfect. Let's go. We'll see if there is anyone who is joining us, but in any case, we are both live, still have my badge. Oops, not good like that. Yeah, live from SpringIO in Barcelona. So maybe we can just have a conversation on that and just see if anyone is joining us. But quite busy 2 days. Just the first day of the event, and Laurent and I have been able to do, let's say, quite some nice sessions and networking with some potential new Microcks adopters and at least new friends. We have had let's say a sort of a informal meetup with some French people. It was easier for us from a language point of view. But we also have had a quite nice conversation with async API contributor and good, let's say, good talks. I don't know, Laurent, if you would like to say a few words on the talks that you saw and what you have appreciated during the day.
Yeah, so beginning of the afternoon, I joined the talk about the 4 different ways of speeding up the bootstrap time of your Spring application, or at least of your Java application at large. And yeah, it makes me smile a lot because it was a great recap of all the pain I felt when I tried to move the Microcks distribution into a GraalVM compiled application. So a lot of, not say good memories, mainly bad memories, but it was nice and it was a great recap. So it also gave me some other tips for further optimization. So it was a nice session. And yeah, just by the end of the afternoon, just before joining here, I attended a talk that was about the latest changes in virtual threads that are coming in Java 25, and also the scoped values, this kind of optimization that allows to write distributed and let's say concurrent applications in a more concise way and with less code, less boilerplate stuff. So yeah, really interesting. But overall, I really enjoyed the conference. It is my first time here at SpringIO, as the sessions are longer than in any other conferences. So most of the conferences right now have adopted the 25-minute session formats, and I prefer longer ones. So here it's 50 minutes, and yeah, 50 minutes is really great if you want to start diving into the details. So that's why I was looking for. So pretty happy.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, yeah. For me also, it's the first time, and clearly this is really, really developer oriented and focused. I mean, there's some session which are more, can say, high level or
Mm.
based on use cases and so on, but most of the session are highly technical and developer oriented. So we have again Josh Long on stage, Mr. Showman, who have done let's say, as usual, live coding, a lot of information, fast, quick, and fun, as usual. So it's always a pleasure to see Josh in action. And on my side, I also, because we've decided, and like we do usually with Laurent during some conferences, we are not doing or going to the same session all the time, and that's what we have done most part of the day, and I've attended a session that I've targeted, which is a session named Top 10 REST API Design Pitfall from Victor Rantia. And he's doing consulting around APIs and development and Spring, of course, for maybe 2 decades. So yeah, I've had quite a big experience and feedback from all the stuff that could happen for developing and maintaining, especially APIs, taking care about multiple version and all let's say the common design issues that he is facing with all the consulting he's doing for quite some big enterprises. So that was very nice. And clearly, I think that I'm going to send him a message in order to tell him that Microcks is around and can help him as well, or at least we're going to be happy to have his feedback regarding contract testing, because it's a topic that he have clearly addressed and put in front of the audience regarding the pain it can sort. So I'm going to be more than happy to, let's say, try to nudge him and see what he's thinking, or if you heard about Microcks already. So. And of course, AI. I mean, we have had a very interesting and AI session, very developer oriented and related to all the latest Sprint AI framework and updates. And yeah, it's, I mean, still quite impressive, and it evolves very, very rapidly. The Spring community have added the support of MCP and the fact that now you can act with MCP directly within the code. And we've been, and Josh have done the demonstration on that as well. I mean, it was, let's say, quite impressive. So gonna follow up and let's see what we gonna see tomorrow. But tomorrow, Laurent and Mauricio from Dapper have a session that we're gonna, of course, promote because I think that's going to be a big announcement and very, very good. So I think you talked about that last time already, Laurent, but that's something that we are waiting for, and we hope that you're going to smash the community, let's say. And we welcome Akash, and I saw maybe Arsh who joined us and he left us. But hi, Akash, nice to see you back. I'm happy to
Yeah,
have you here.
yeah. It has been great. I see both of you sharing your update for last few weeks. Was it that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's great. I mean, shall I start? Not update. I mean, I'll just share what I did maybe last 2 weeks since our last meeting. So I tried installing like Microc, and then there are a couple of things I had to take from my work. I We were working on like from my I worked at Oracle, so in my company we are having an internal hackathon on MCP server and AI. So most of my times were spent there, but I see a lot of potential, not just like from my use case, but I have seen from my senior leadership in the company, from Oracle, there are a lot of push from AI. So I was thinking maybe just to experiment something that was happening since last 2 weeks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll maybe try more about Microcks. I'll try see if I can contribute somewhere, because main reason, or I would say to be very honest, why I want to do like work part, I want to keep as it is, how it is there, where I'm getting basically paid. I have some like what do you say, requirement. This more of the I want to do in my free time. And yeah, that's one thing. Second thing, I do apply for Google Summer of Code from one of the CNCF org itself. That is Kubeflow. That deals with the distributed like AI model we have that deals with
Mm-hmm.
using Kubeflows to distribution, like to distribute the model training. So I got into that. I got accepted as contributor. So I'll be working on one of the project there. So that's there. That's one of the achievement from last 2 week or 3 week, you can say. But still, I'm always in that key, whatever that is given to me, or let's say requirement job or something like that. Apart from that, maybe spend 1 day or 2 hour, 3 hour each week to try something new. So yeah.
That's amazing. That's good to know, and thanks for sharing that. I mean, so especially the product on which you have been accepted for Google Summer of Code. I mean, this could be a very nice expertise and experience that we're going to be more than happy to learn more.
Yeah,
because
for
that
sure.
can clearly answer also the MCP stuff that we are cooking, and we have made quite a lot of changes and enhancement and remove some glitches in the latest 48 hours, let's say as well. That's going to be released in web.12 pretty soon. We have had a lot of conversation with Laurent on the topic and a lot of let's say enhancements which are coming. So the more people are using it, the better it's going to be. And very, very happy that you are jumping on that topic because we really need some feedback and some people who are testing it. I mean, if they discover issues, that's just part of the game in order to enhance that. So that's really cool.
Sure, sure. I'll check out the repo. I'll check because I think last thing which I did like to set up the project. I didn't get time to like do much on that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to where something I can see contribute. Maybe maybe something else, maybe other things. So I can learn more. I can contribute that. So yeah, that's it.
Excellent. Thanks for that. And if you discover or if you have any issues or something you don't understand, just ask and come and jump on Discord because, I mean, or create issues and so on. Because yeah, it's constantly evolving. For example,
Sure, sure, sure. For sure,
just
for sure.
to give you an example, I don't know if it's working anymore, but we saw that MCP interceptor have to done some changes and then generate issues that we didn't have had, let's say, 2 days ago. So,
Mhm.
so that's top of the let's say stuff which are moving constantly and very, very rapidly these days. So.
Yeah, yeah. Have you also all seen the Google I/O that happened like last yesterday, first day?
Mm,
So there are a lot of like I've seen the on YouTube you get this like 10 minutes IO Google IO in 10 minutes.
Mm.
So they always talk about this agent, that agent, MCP server, this tool, that tool. I mean, it's crazy hype, and yeah, I mean, even because as a student, I mean, I always, to be honest, I used to be fascinated by new tech, but in a or like which is like multinational company which has already products running, there itself I can see because we ran an internal hackathon from the senior leadership, so that whole thing is happening all over the industry.
yeah, yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah, just thinking out loud, yes, hackathon is really a great way to try out what we are cooking, and we know also that we have some adopters that are organizing banks for say that are organizing a hackathon and playing around with yeah new MCP ideas around AI workflows, agentic AI workflows, and yes, they are using to start to use our micro MCP layers on top of existing OpenAPI to simulate all sort of things. So yeah, very. This is yeah a part that is moving very 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 fast.
Yeah, sure, sure. I'll check out some of them. I can maybe give some fresh feedbacks and yeah,
Yeah,
so
sure. Go ahead. Yeah. More than happy. And yeah, just I was just looking at the the OpenAPI for MCP implementation,
Mhm.
OpenAPI to MCP converter we are implementing at the moment. And just let me just share my screen 1 second, but you'll see that yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This issue is just keep growing because yeah, each and every time we find some new let's say caveats or details or little glitches, and yeah, so adding supports for headers, for query parameters, supporting the dereferencing of arrays of Scala types of yeah, so we just keep on improving the coverage of this OpenAPI to MCP translation, but yeah, still we are very eager to get your feedbacks on what's working well for you, what's not working well yet, so that we can just keep on improving this. So yeah, feel free
Oh,
to send everything you want.
oh, thanks
Yeah,
for sharing.
no,
I'll take a look at that. Yeah.
yeah, also, for what you are using testing, from a MCP client point of view, model, we noticed that Mistral have release a new model. I think it was yesterday or the day before. So I mean, can change a lot of stuff based on the tests that we have done previously. So any stuff that you're testing, the fact that it's keep working as expected, or it's better, or it's not working anymore. That's always very useful in order to reproduce and see, let's say, or we can all work hand in hand in order to make it better. Because as you said, there's I think a huge amount of potential from a usage point of view, and maybe new way to use existing services or brand new services. So it's not a question of hype only. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Good. Good. What else do we have? Do you have any other point, Akash, on your side, or anything you would like to share?
No, I don't think I have anything more to share. I'll spend this few days to explore more. Last couple of weeks where I had very less bandwidth. Yeah. So,
Good. Good. Maybe, from a community experience point of view, we have had a discussion with Laurent just before, because something that happened on Discord just today, and maybe we can share that experience, because I think it's I mean, it's the typical type, let's say, of communication and way to work with each other, and especially within the community, that can be used, let's say, as an example of what could be nice to do and good to do. I'll share you my screen just to give you a better idea of what I'm dealing with. This is a communication which happened just today on Discord, and on which Laurent have interacted and replied, and it's people within the community were using Microcks previously, and they joined the Discord channel, which is great to expose the fact that it's not something that was working previously on an old version is not working anymore for them. They're starting to explain that. So it's in French because they know that we are French. So as you can imagine, it was certainly easier for them. But as it's international and we would like everybody to understand and share with the others, Laurent have immediately, changed the language to English, which is just the way to communicate publicly within any open source community. And this is quite nice and funny as well, because we realize and we notice with Laurent that there's people who are using Microcks or are evaluating Microcks, and sometimes, which is normal, with any tool, you can be locked on one topic or something that is not working as expected, or in that case, as it was working before. And so maybe they didn't check the documentation deeply and so on, but the community, and not only us, are here to support and share. And here it was just, let's say, something which has been answered, fixed with the new version, which yes was not working as they used to use it before, but it was already documented, and Laurent have pointed them to let's say, the documentation and so on, and a good point, in less than 5 minutes, they've been able to confirm, check it out, and fix the problem. So I think I'm just sharing that here, and that conversation we have had with Laurent just a few minutes before this meeting. That's typically what we encourage, the community to do. Being in front of an issue just because you didn't know where to look for, or you don't understand how to do it, by joining the community, sharing with the others what you have done, and better, if it's something that you have been able to fix by yourself, or you are fixing that, and sharing broadly with the others, that's clearly what we need within a community in order to grow as a community. And I'm just sharing that here because that's a typical example of, if these people were not asking publicly in Discord, maybe they could have decided to just don't use Microcks anymore because it was not working as they think it should work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Akash, you'll see on some other communities, but I think that's a common issue with any communities,
Yeah,
And that's also why we always try to remember, if you use a solution, an open source solution, come and join the community, interact with the community. It's the best way to learn, best way to share, and best way as well to evaluate and use a solution as its full potential. And that's a typical example.
Yeah.
So I think that's we'll have that. We have this type of situation quite often, but I think this one is quite typical, and I think can be used within this community as a good example of the power of a community.
Yeah, of course.
All right. I don't think that we have any other specific topic because you know that we've been quite busy on event and 1.12 cooking and fixing and so on. I don't know, Laurent, if you...
Maybe one thing, yes, I can just, because we are looking for feedback on this new feature, so maybe I can just explain what I did on the new operator and what's actually, let's say, already committed, already available, but not yet released. And I'd like to get some feedbacks on this. So allow me to share my screen and I will show you. Yes. Can you see my browser window at the moment?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So it's about the new Microcks operator. You know, the goal is to provide a full GitOps-oriented approach with different custom resource being available on Kubernetes to drive everything through custom resource. Could be installation. It could be provisioning of artifacts of secrets. And now we worked on the ability to execute tests directly from custom resources. So typically I worked on this new custom resource here. You can have it, it's a test, okay? And basically it just allows you to put here the specification of the test you would like to execute. And this specification will be read by the operator and will be used to actually execute a test on a target Microcks instance, the one that is targeted here using this Microcks/instance annotation here. And so everything is now implemented. I also put it some code to demonstrate this. So typically, let me show you. These are in the samples, and based on our API pastry scenarios, I put a new API source resource that allows us to load the different contracts you need to get the API pastry sample running into Microcks. And then you can see here different way of launching a test on those endpoints. So typically asking for an Open API schema validation, and this one should fail. Oh no, it should succeed. Then having this one, no, this one should fail, sorry. Having also the ability to test another endpoint and having the ability to provide different retention policies. So typically, a custom resource, test custom resource is intended to be a short-lived resource on your Kubernetes cluster, but you may want to keep it in your cluster if, for example, your test is failing for different issues. So your Microcks instance will still have track of the history of the different tests that are executed, but you may choose to keep the test custom resource in Kubernetes or not, depending on your let's say on your workflow and on your retention policy. So typically, I was thinking that it could be nice to just delete the customer resource, the test once it is executed, but to delete it after a certain delay so that some of the workflow engines, like for example, Argo workflow or Argo events, can be triggered so that you can move to the next stage in your workflow if you have, for example, a complex workflow, a complex deployment workflow based on Argo workflow or Argo event. So this is available. I also updated the documentation so that you can find anything regarding the here the test custom resource. There is a full documentation just right here with all the details on specification and so on. So yeah, feel free to check it out, to try it out. There are some different examples also to reuse OAuth context, for example. And yeah, provide feedback if you want to tell us if it's okay or if it's still need adjustment before the release.
Sure. I mean, I'm technically I know it's coincidence or something. I'm technically working on similar CRDs for the Kubeflow. So yeah,
Okay.
like basically I'm trying to create a custom CRD for their operators. So yeah, that would be good learning where I can use here, there. I mean, yeah, I'll sure I'll check it out. And
Yeah.
I'll
Okay. Yeah, or if it's just yeah, sharing best practices or let's say conventions or how things are named, or we always learn from other projects that are also writing custom resources because uh, at the end of the day we all try to do something that is that can be easily used and easily understood. So having, yes, sharing some common practice is always good. So yeah, feel free to comment on either on even on the design of the different custom resources.
sure. I have seen the repo. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
saved the repo. Yeah, I was going through that. I'll check it out.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool, cool. I'll probably record a new video on that, but it will be next week at best. So yeah, expect a new video that demonstrate how to use this. But yeah, in the meantime, feel free to check it out and to review the documentation to see if it feels okay.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you,
And
sir.
I think oh no, another another thing that is worth mentioning on the operator, and something I have closed because I did extensive tests on that. Um, I let me check. Oh no, maybe it's not yet closed. Hmm. Should be closed. Yes, this is this one. So typically now, so it has been implemented 2 weeks ago. Now we have the support of the new Kubernetes Gateway API available with the operator. So previously you can just deploy or create ingresses for Kubernetes or routes if you were working with OpenShift. And now we added another option. So if you already use the Gateway API on your Kubernetes cluster, so you have this ability to turn on this feature. And so instead of ingresses, we will build, create, and reconciliate HTTP routes and gRPC routes for the gRPC parts of Microcks. So here again, it has been fully documented. So it is in documentations. If I check, for example, the Microcks CRD, you will see that yes, regarding the network exposition, you have the choice and you can say, hey, I like ingress style, or I'd like gateway route, or I'd like because maybe you'll manage on your own how to expose to the outer world. And so you have common settings that you can set either on the ingress object or on the gateway route. Some stuff like class names, like section names for gateways, and so on. So you now have this option of defining whether you'd like ingresses or gateway routes.
No. Sure, sure, sure.
And I think that's it for the operator.
Sure.
And I put maybe for your test, Akash, in a chat a tool that we discovered recently, which can maybe help you based on the operator you are using to discover CRDs and check the documentation online and so on. Maybe, maybe I remember that it was not working for the Microcks repo, but this tool is quite useful to discover, operators from other projects. We may need to, I think there's an issue with the YAML extension convention that they are using on the tool, but uh, we we think that is can maybe I'm sharing that here because I think it can certainly help you for discovering Kubernetes project and custom resources documentation from others as well.
So, yeah, I was checking out that, yeah, I got that link. So I was checking out. I'll see how it works. You were saying this is not working with our Microc operator
No,
CRDs?
not today, because I think it's only, if I remember, we are only checking YAML extension when you write them at YML and not YAML or something like that. So it's just maybe we need to create an issue for that or see if if there is not an issue already open on this project. But when it works, and if you check with another project, it's quite useful, let's say.
Okay, okay, that's something I don't know. How do you see beforehand?
Oh, you just
YAM?
need. In
Yeah.
fact, it is doing inspection of all the YAML file is discovering in the repo and is creating the documentation of all the resources and the YAML file it is discovering for you. I think if you,
Yeah, sure. I'll check it out. By the way, we have Vaishno. Hi,
yeah,
hello.
hi Vaishnav, yeah, how are you
So,
doing?
yeah, okay, he did react somewhere, but we are discussing like what we did last week or last week. And assuming you are new here, I'm also new. This is my second call.
Mm.
Uh, I was just sharing my experience what I had until now, apart from the community years. So maybe if you want, if you feel free, you can share your what. If it is your first call, maybe you can share what you do, or what do you do when you're like, are you a student or working? Okay, okay, you are not on laptop. Fine, but
Okay.
that yeah.
Yeah.
All right, there is in mobile, yeah. But Vishnav is, you know Vishnav already or not, Akash?
No, no, say
Okay, because we know him pretty well, let's say, because he's a mentee from the Linux Foundation program, and
okay.
is let's say working with the Micros community for more than 2 months already, and especially regarding AWS deployment and a way to do deployment in a very and fully automated way to share with the community, and in order to have feedback from the community to take care about, let's say, a way to deploy, maintain, and describe, or to use the operator, CloudFormation script, and anything related to AWS services. And I think he will share pretty soon as well. I think we started the first PR to explain how to deploy on Oracle Google Cloud as well.
Okay,
And
thanks.
this is so that's maybe of use for you. If you
Yeah,
can provide him feedback, I think he's going to appreciate that.
thanks for naming my company. Yeah, yeah, sure. I'll check out. I'll check out the project if any of you can share his project link if possible, because
I can, yes, it's everything. I'll give you the link, but everything is in the Microcks community repo.
Okay, okay.
In install. That's where you have all the documentation regarding cloud deployment. And so here is in the chat. I can share my screen, by the way. Maybe it's gonna be way easier. Here it is. So this is if you go just on the community repo. Here you have install script and some information on tooling, tuning, and so on. And just to make it clear, because I think that's also important to explain that why we have done that and why it is in a dedicated community repo. Is here we would like, let's say, to put all the topic which are outside of Microcks core engine and core project. So it's all if everything reaches, let's say, the type of question that usually ask adopters and Microcks users, which are not related, let's say, to the main focus and commitment of the project maintainers and contributors, which are, for example, to describe how to deploy on AWS, GCP, Oracle, and so on. So the mentees, we have two mentees on this specific topic, three, sorry, if we include tuning and troubleshooting stuff and so on, which have been dedicated to start templating and describing how to deploy on AWS, GCP, Oracle, and so on, and maybe some of us soon. And the objective clearly here is to, for example, if we check what has been done on Oracle, so it's moving here. I don't know if it has been committed already. Let me check. Here it is. So that's instruction that Vishnav has started in order to deploy on Oracle Kubernetes Engine, and it describes how to deploy Microcks. So you have plenty of information on so on, but here the objective is that's coming from what he have done, his experiences, and what we need and expect and would like from the community is to test it, provide feedback, and more than that, help to maintain that, especially people who are deploying on one of these clouds. I mean, it's important for us that the community is taking care about that. Because for us, we are a project, we are not a commercial product. So deploying Microcks at scale with external dependencies, which is a best practice for MongoDB, Keycloak, and Postgre for Keycloak and so on. That's part of what the adopters need to adapt for their usages and do by themselves. But if they can contribute back what they have installed, what they have tested, what they have validated, what they are using, it can help, of course, the others and the newcomers. So in installation, you have a lot of information on all the way to deploy from these clouders, but also information on which are specific to MongoDB and best practices around MongoDB to encrypt some of the information. We also have added a compatibility matrix. So then here the community can explain and list, I'm using, GKE this version or OpenShift this version. It worked for me. And ideally, I'm describing my setup and I'm sharing that with the others. There's no competitive advantage, of explaining that to the others. But people who are coming and jumping within Microcks, and especially the one who would like to deploy it at scale, can learn from the others and maintain that all together. That's clearly the objective. Same for sizing, because we usually have a lot of questions on sizing and so on. Here we ask and would like the community to provide feedback on how they have sized and benchmark or on so on their installation. And here for troubleshooting, this one is fully dedicated to Docker Compose, but it's the common, let's say, question and answers and issues that Krishi which she's a mentee as well, who have noticed and reported within this file. So this is dedicated to all this type of information. And what we need and expect is that the community is taking care about that and help maintenance of all this information for the community. But it's not something as a maintainer and contributors on a core project that we can handle.
Okay, okay, that's great. That's great. I'll check it out. I mean, there's a lot of things that I have to check it out. I will list it down somewhere. So that's great. And thanks so much, no, yeah, for Oracle. I mean, by the way, I work on Oracle. I work on OKE. I'll test out. I'll experiment with that maybe as well. Thanks for contributing that.
That's
Maybe,
very cool. And I think
maybe I can tell some of my teammates, okay, there is something tool from CNCF that they have support for OKE as well.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think Vaishnav are going to be more than happy to have feedback from someone who have, let's say, expertise and hands-on experience on Oracle Cloud, which is good and can clearly help the community and the one who like to deploy Microcks on Oracle. So that's very, very cool, especially if it's your target. I mean, now you know that it exists, that you can start from what has been created and released and share. And we clearly need people who are taking care about that and who are maintaining it on the long term. That's important.
Sure, sure, yeah.
Good. Yeah, I think that's it for me. I don't know, Laurent, Akash, Vishnav, so you're on mobile, but I think we have done an overview of what you have done for the latest 2 months, so that's cool. But if you have any other point, any other topic, otherwise, I think that's fine from my point of view regarding this community meeting, and especially for today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are good. Thanks for joining, Akash. Thanks for joining Vishnav as well.
Yeah, and for I don't know if there is anyone which is in Barcelona. Don't forget this session tomorrow from Mauricio and Laurent. Dapper and Microcks joining their forces for something that is let's say quite huge. We'll see the feedback and so on, but I think stay tuned because you will heard about this use case in the coming months and maybe with some other talks because that's very, very huge. So tomorrow, 12:30 at SpringIO, and we'll keep you posted.
And by the way, we were in the, if you can't wait for the replay of the SpringIO session, we were last week in Dapper community meeting just to give a bit of a teaser of this talk. So feel free also to check the recording. It's on YouTube, so just search for Dapper community call and Microcks. And yes, it was on May 14th.
And we'll certainly do a social communication on that next week as well, just to as a not as a reminder, but just to share all those activities with that, because just the beginning of the story, which is a very, very nice one, and between two projects within the Cloud Native Foundation. And that, for the one who don't know, Dapper is a graduated project, which is the highest level. So for us, it's quite an honor to work hand in hand with a project which is, let's say, way advanced within the CNCF as Microcks is today, because we are working in order to level up, of course.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Akash.
Any plans for KubeCon India that's happening on August? And, I mean, I live in Hyderabad, I work in Hyderabad, so I was just thinking, any plans? Do let me know. I'll be happy to host you in Hyderabad. I'll show you Hyderabad. So yeah.
That's very kind from you, but going to be too short for us, at least Laurent and I. But we know that there is a LFX Mentees who are going to be at KubeCon India, and some may, let's say, based on their Microcks community and contribution experience, they may be a good point of contact for you as well. So more than happy to put you in touch. we have an LFX mentorship channel on Discord, and that's where you can also interact with the 7 mentees that we have. All of them are from India, and I know that at least one going to be at KubeCon India for sure, and 2 of us are trying to attend. So ask within this channel, and certainly you can do appointment with some contributors, and more than happy to see how it goes and have social feedback from you guys.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, clearly.
Okay, maybe this might, yeah, this is actually a very short amount of time. Maybe next time whenever it happens India, I'll be happy to meet all of you in person. This is, I think, second time this is happening in India, like KubeCon. First one was in Delhi. I was super excited. I met a lot of people whom I have always seen in Zooms, YouTubes, or like calls. That was a very good experience for me, even as a student. Back then I was a student. So maybe, yeah, maybe not this KubeCon. Next, anyway, we'll be having a lot of KubeCons in coming month, year. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do our best. We have done one trip with Laurent to India last year for Async API conference, and yeah, we're really, first of all, like the area and so on, but also the community and the enthusiasm was just amazing, and the Indian Microcks community is also growing a lot. So I mean, if we can, from a financial and budget and funding point of view, of course, we're going to be more than happy to go to KubeCon India next year. We'll check it out. We'll check it out, and if we can, going to be our pleasure.
Sure.
All right, so I think we just gonna close the community meeting. Maybe I'm not gonna say 10 minutes in advance. We just reserve an hour and we try to stay online for an hour. But I think we don't have any other topic. Let's close this one, and more than happy to see you on the next community meeting or in next month or whenever you can or want. The next one going to be in 2 weeks in a different time zone, but we try to do our best to do at least twice community meeting per month, like what we have done so far, which this one is number 16.
Sure. Yeah.
So thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of the day for the one who are starting their journey.
Bye-bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye. See you around. Bye.
Thanks, Masmo, for sharing the Discord link. Thank you for that as well.
Oh, cool. Thanks a lot for that.